slight inconvenience.
Yeah, that sucks.
Let's,
Yeah, I had a update I had to do for all the Macs, for the MacBook and the
yeah.
iMac, and then my phone. It took freaking forever. It was a huge update.
The hard drive in my PC is failing. I
Ooh.
saw the notification whenever I woke up this morning, which I mean, thing's over 10 years old, so it's had a good run.
Yeah, my computer's coming up on 10 years next year. My iMac.
That's crazy.
It's a 2012 model. Dude, I'm in love with those new 24-inch iMacs. I want one so bad.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm trying to save up to get a new camera.
Yeah, I was hoping that you'd get that thing in the mail today. I'm glad it got there today.
Oh, let me go. Let me go grab it real
All
quick.
right.
I'll show it off on the show.
Do 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 do. Hello, everybody.
Okay, I'm back.
What was I gonna say? Oh, those posters behind you. I
Mm-hmm.
went to Play and Talk the other day, and they had a bunch of them there. They had that same one, the Zelda one, behind you,
Mm-hmm.
and they had one I want to go back and get. They have Link to the Past version
Oh,
of
they
it.
have a
I was
Link to
like,
the Past one.
oh, dude. I was like, I
That's
got to go back and get that.
had the Trading Post had one. That would have been what I went with. But
They have a
like I,
bunch, though. They had like 30 different ones.
what other like what other franchises did they have?
They had a bunch of Marvel stuff, like Deadpool and Spider-Man, things like that. They
Right.
had a bunch of Zelda ones. They had a bunch of Mario ones. Had some Sonic ones. I don't remember seeing the Sonic one you got behind you, but they had some Sonic ones, and I think they might have had some Pokemon stuff in there too.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Let's
Dude,
see.
did you see I think it was Rampage shared with me today on Twitter that was today or yesterday. Somebody had, or it might have been Nate, shared with me that somebody had already gotten graded and sealed a pack of those Pokemon Oreo, and we're gonna talk about that tonight. I
Yeah,
got it in the news. I was
I
like, what? And some idiot's going to pay like hundreds of dollars for that too. Like, why? Why would you
no,
do that, dude?
I'm
Why
kidding.
would you
I'm
do that?
kidding.
You're the reason.
uh,
Oh man.
all right, I've got all my tabs, so I'm all set when you are, my friend.
Okay. Yep, I got all my tabs open, all my levels are up, and I'm good to go.
Okay.
Oh, so you see, I got a new setup here. I got Darth in the background.
Yeah. What do you
Angelina.
have above the Ninja Turtles thing?
Oh, that's let me move that up. It's my Superman original vinyl soundtrack.
Ooh,
I couldn't get it low enough. I might have to do some rearranging to get it lower so it can be seen.
that's sweet.
Let me put this. Maybe if I do that, people can see it.
All these years later, that's still the best Superman movie ever made.
Yeah, it is. I got a Empire Strikes Back original soundtrack too from when I was a kid, but I had to
Oh,
find
that's
a spot
awesome.
for it. But yeah, Angelina rearranged some stuff around here, and I was able to put. He's sitting on top of my guitar amp, practice amp right now, so he can be seen. And yeah, I got some new stuff in the background.
Oh, she did a good job.
Yeah, said you did a good job. She said thumbs up. All right, we ready to do this?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Greetings, programs. We're back for another episode of Nerd Cave Retro. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Most overused phrase on Nerd Cave Retro.
Hey,
no,
but I know you were happy because you sent me that picture of the final game the other day. I was like, I know you're happy right now.
Well, the cool thing about it, so I talked about a couple of weeks ago how staffing has been a challenge, like not just with us, but with so many other places in Pensacola and around the country of people just being short-staffed everywhere. And it's been the same with us through, say, pretty much all the second half of the season. But it worked out to where I ended up having to be the PA announcer, which I like doing. So it was kind of cool to do that for the last game of the year. But yeah, no, it came and went. So there's a very, very small possibility that they will make the playoffs, which would be next week. But a lot has to happen in order for that to become a reality. So
I bet you're just like, please, no, please.
Well, if they do make the playoffs, it'll only be 2 games as opposed to 6. But
yeah,
I think I'll probably know for sure by Friday if that will happen or not. So
if it does happen, will you be here next week or
no?
Oh.
So, but like I said, a lot has to happen in order for that to happen. So
damn sporting events.
Well, it's especially baseball. I mean, with football, it's single elimination, and basketball is a series, but
that's what I always liked about football, because it's like, you get to the playoffs, it's like it's winner take all. Like each game, like there is no like series. Like baseball, they already play like 120,000 games a season. Then you get to the playoffs, and it's like, oh my God, they got to do like 6, 7, best of 7. Like, why? Imagine if football was best of 7. Like,
they would all be dead.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, with baseball, injuries do happen, but like with football, you're just like trying to kill each other every single play.
Careers would be like 3 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah. But I am really excited to talk about the game we'll be reviewing tonight, because I know both you and I have been playing it quite extensively ever since you told me about it.
I have some horror stories about this game.
Me and you both.
Yeah.
Me and you both. I do have to also give you a shout out, because you sent me a late birthday present that I received in the mail today, which those of you who are watching the video version can see. It's a Sonic pop figure with the background of the best Sonic the Hedgehog game ever made, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis. So thank you so much for sending that. That was awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I was out looking for a birthday present a few weeks ago, and I was going to get you a Zelda coffee mug or a Zelda t-shirt, just something Zelda. And I was looking around, and I saw that, and I had a Zelda mug in my hand. I was like, oh, I couldn't find a t-shirt. Actually, they had some Zelda shirts there, the same one that I got, and I was gonna get it for you. And Angelina made fun of me. She was like, "What? So you can be shirt buddies or like wear the same shirt?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" But they didn't have your size, so I was looking around, and I was gonna get a coffee mug, and then I saw that. I was like, "Oh, that's it. That's the thing. Derek's gonna love that."
No, this is great. This is really great.
I'm just glad it got there in one piece, because I've been meaning to get it to the post office for like the last 2 weeks, and finally dropped it off the other day, and I was like, oh, please don't mess this up. Please get it there in one piece.
No, it arrived in good condition, so
fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got some news to get to tonight. You ready to jump into that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, and we are going to do our giveaway tonight. I wanted to say before we went into the news, we're going to do that after the news segment, so stay tuned. But the first story tonight comes from Armez Jackson. This is from Engadget.com. You're not going to believe this. There are 4 new games coming to the Atari Lynx. The Atari freaking Lynx is getting some new games. If you're a retro gamer, it's hard not to ignore the Atari Lynx. The first color handheld it might have been, but its small library of games, under 100 official titles, and general mishandling by Atari itself earned it little more than a walk-on role in gaming history for most people. The homebrew and indie scene for the Lynx is pretty thin compared to its contemporaries, the Game Boy and the Game Gear. For Lynx diehards, there's one destination to gather, Atari Age, and user Fadist, real name, can't even pronounce that, is one of the long-standing members of the Handhelds forum there. He began programming for the Lynx as a way to channel his enthusiasm for retro gaming while he soothed the son to sleep late at night. He came to the Lynx specifically for its technological limitations, although it was advanced for the time. He did a new game called Raid on Tri-City. Takes the classic Tetris format and introduces a shoot-'em-up component. He already released a pay-what-you-want ROM-only version of Raid on Tri-City. Second Wave is essentially the same game as a physical release with some new in-game perks. Let's see, are there the other games on here too? This is a long article, so if you want to go take a look at the article on Engadget. Yeah, basically there's another one called Cybervirus, which is a first-person space shooter. Let's see, there was Cybervirus, and then what's this called? Unseen. Let's see, Unseen and Unnamed. I see for fan of what games? See, it's an arcade puzzler and racing games. Man, this is a long article. I looked through this earlier, but I didn't actually read the whole thing because it's so freaking long. But yeah, there's 4 titles. If you're a Lynx fan, you got some new games coming for you, basically.
I'd be interested in playing a Lynx because anytime I go to the video game trading post here in town, which is where I got these 2 new posters you see behind me.
Rampage in the chat room.
Rampage. They have like a casing with a lot of old systems that you can buy, and one of those is a Lynx. I can't remember how much it is, but I'd be curious to give it a shot. And I mean, we've talked about this before. I think it's cool when new titles are made for these old systems. It really doesn't matter what type of game it is, just the fact that games are still being made for it shows the fan base that's still there all these years later.
You know, I think Atari might be, if they were to come back with a new Lynx along the lines of the Nintendo Switch, I think that Atari could get a foothold back into the, you know, the gaming, the console, not console, but at least the handheld market. If they were to bring a new Lynx, because this thing is still, even though it's 30 years old, it's still pretty cool looking. Even though it took like, you know, 8 AA batteries at a time and it only lasted like 15 minutes.
I'd love to put a new set of batteries in a Lynx and a Game Gear and see which one goes out first.
And just
there's got to be a video of that on. There's got to be a YouTube video of that somewhere.
I'm sure there is. And I'm sure the older they get, the less battery time you get with them. So it would be interesting to see how long, because this Lynx here is one of the later models when they kind of compacted it a little bit, and this is actually the one that I like the best. This kind of compacted, thicker version of it. The big one was just a little too big, like the first version of it. But the second version here is the one that I always liked, and one that if I was to get a Lynx, this is the one I would get.
Right. I'd be curious to play one at some point.
Yeah, I never played a Lynx before, but it'd be interesting to play like a new game on there.
Oh, for sure. So this comes to us from your Open Micers co-host, Jacob Craig, and I've been pretty stoked to talk about this. This is from comicbook.com.
Yeah, last week it was a story about donuts. And then this week.
They're just trying to take over the food market. Pokemon shows off Oreo cookie designs. The Pokemon Company has given fans a close-up view of all 16 Oreo cookie designs coming to stores starting today. Today marks the beginning of a limited-time collaboration between the Pokemon Company and the beloved cookie brand Oreo. A limited supply of Pokemon-themed Oreo cookies are hitting stores, and they've taken to Twitter to give fans an up-close view, which you could go to the official @Pokemon on Twitter, and they have a video that goes through all 16, which feature Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, Dratini, and Sandshrew from the original generation of Pokemon. There are some of the newer ones, which I'm not as familiar with, but there's also doing a special art installation on the Venice Beach Boardwalk in Los Angeles. So that'd be pretty cool to see.
That's cool.
Of course, this is all in collaboration with this being Pokemon's 25th anniversary. I mean, I like Oreos and I like Pokemon, so obviously I'm going to try them. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
I would just eat them. I like Oreos. It doesn't matter what's on them, what shape it is.
Oh, the best. And my stomach can't handle this as much now that I'm a little bit older. One of my favorite things to do when I was younger is make some chocolate milk, dip the Oreos in the chocolate milk.
Yeah, that sounds good. But yeah,
that sounds like a food item to put you in a food coma.
We were talking about it before the episode. It was Wally who tagged the Nerd Cave Retro Twitter with the guy that had it Wada graded a packet of Pokemon Oreo. Why? Why would you do that?
So I know I haven't been here through a majority of those auction stories that you talked about during the summer. How do people get the money to be able to do that is what I want to know. Because clearly we both went into the wrong profession.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
go ahead.
Honestly, I don't know, and it's getting out of hand at this point. It's Oreo cookies, and Wada graded them and put them in a plastic shell. Like, why? This is getting way out of hand. Did you hear just recently? I think it's I forgot who's doing it. It's like GameStop or someone when they sell new packs of like Pokemon cards and stuff, they open the pack in the store so that it cuts down on scalpers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember those things. I mean, they still do, but when those first started being sold, those would go for some good money.
Yeah, this market's getting out of hand, and I don't know. It's going to crash hard. This whole weird thing with video game stuff is just getting out of hand.
When do you see it crashing?
I think it's going to crash faster than most people think it is. Within the next year or two, it's just going to bottom out. And maybe I'll be able to go back to the flea market and buy some decently priced games again.
You want a copy of Legend of Zelda? $500.
Yeah, exactly. No, thank you. This next story comes from I Am the Rampage. And this story just dropped today, I think. A retailer appears to have uncovered new and sealed 90s SNES games, and they're up for sale. This is on NintendoLife.com. It's not often you stumble across brand new stock of games released in the 90s when browsing your favorite game store, but here we are with one of the most intriguing retail listings you're likely to see all year. German retailer Galeria Kaufhof has
amazing
today
last name
added a brand new listing for Lufia 2 Rise of the Sinistrals, known simply as Lufia in Europe, which was originally released in 97. The listing notes that it comes with original packaging manual and is only available in select branches. Let's see. Perhaps shedding a little more light on the situation, game enthusiasts have been discussing the listing over on NeoGAF. One user explains, out of nowhere, there were rumors a couple of months ago that somewhere in an old warehouse, a few sealed boxes were found with dozens of SNES games back from the 90s. Since there were no pictures, I did not think to investigate any further. Now, out of nowhere today at 6 in the morning, Lufia was posted on their website. Of course, it was only a couple of months ago that another retailer stumbled upon 500 new copies of F-Zero for the Super Nintendo. That is, yeah. The rumor also includes mention of several boxes sealed by Nintendo, which is a very exciting prospect indeed. What do you think about that? Coming across some sealed boxes of sealed Super Nintendo games.
I want all of them.
Me too. I want every.
Can you imagine?
I wouldn't know.
Could you
what to
imagine
think.
finding 500 new copies of F-Zero?
Well,
not just one, 500.
It's definitely going to make the price of a sealed copy of F-Zero plummet.
Yes, but
here's my prediction. Here's my prediction. Within the next month, you know how Super Mario 64 is going for like $1.5 million?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to come out with a box of sealed Super Mario 64 games, like hundreds of them, that have never been touched since they were sealed in the box 25 years ago.
I could see it.
And when it happens, I'm going to laugh and laugh and laugh.
You should, if that happens, you should get the clip of Austin Powers from when Dr. Evil and his minions are laughing like, "Mwah, mwah." Get that to play.
Yep. This is cool though.
But
I'm excited when stuff like this happens.
I can't tell you how much I would geek out if I just randomly found a box of sealed, unopened Super Nintendo games.
Yeah, especially if they were all different, like like Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana, and
imagine if you found a copy of Earthbound.
Like 4 or 5 copies of Earthbound still sealed. I would just call my boss and be like, "Yeah, I'm not coming in tomorrow."
Yeah. Well, when are you coming back?
Never. No.
We had a good run.
Yeah.
Oh man. But this next story comes to us from Mr. Armez Jackson from NintendoLife.com. Unavailability of classic titles is holding game culture back, says Platinum's Hideki Kamiya. Games
Hideki?
should be available. Yeah, Hideki. Yeah, that's probably much better than what I said. Games should be available to everyone who wants to play them. The way we play and consume classic video games has become a hot topic of late, thanks largely to some rather shady practices being employed by collectors to boost the value of certain titles. While some people are keen to increase the value of their collection while it sits on the shelf, those of us who simply want to play and enjoy video games are losing out, because in a lot of cases, the reason retro games are worth so much is down to the fact that there's literally no other means of playing a certain game other than its original form. Hideki Kamiya, an avid retro gamer and collector, says that he understands the appeal of getting a particular physical title in the best possible condition, but laments that people who simply want to play games are often missing out. So it does bring up an interesting perspective. Like, are you one who just wants to buy the game because you happen to have a Super Nintendo or an N64 and you don't care if the condition's perfect?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you have a copy? And then you have those who want it, in mint condition, never been touched, still in the box, all that type of stuff. Because I see, and I can't speak for the retro gaming places in your area, but the ones here that have, like, say, damaged labels or you can tell aren't in the good condition, are still more expensive than what I would probably be willing to pay.
Yeah, and another thing is, like, do you think that the craziness that's going on with the collector, the collecting of the games and stuff right now, do you think it would, if there were ways to play all the games that you wanted to play, like just say out of the blue, Nintendo's like, okay, you can play every single Nintendo game, every single Super Nintendo game, every single Game Boy Advance game, like just flood, the Nintendo Switch online with ways to play every single game you want to play. Do you think that would have any effect on the collectible market at that point? Because like you said, like right now when I'm as a collector, I want the things that I want, and then all the other, like if I run across something cool, I'll buy it. But I'm not a completionist. Like I have a ton of Nintendo games. I have over 150 Nintendo games, but the ones that I really want are the ones that I treasure and the ones that I search for complete in box. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough to say I want to display it. So I'm kind of lost my point here, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But to answer your question, I think it would affect it a little bit. If anything, I would hope it would drive more sales for the Switch,
Mhm.
because then you really have, to me, if you're a Nintendo fan,
Mhm.
then you have no reason to not buy one, because you have access to all of that library. I think you'll still have some that would prefer to play it on the original hardware, but I think it would affect it a little bit, but not a ton though.
Well, there's always going to be the purists, who want to play on original hardware. I still like playing a lot of games on original hardware. Um, but like I said, I don't mind paying a premium for something if it's something that I really want and if it's in good condition. Like I bought, there's a lot of games I have in box. Like I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the box. A lot of people hate that game. It's not that expensive, but it's worth something to me. And I would have paid,
Yeah.
Upwards of 50, $75 to get one complete in box. And but it's getting harder to do because people now think that they have, just because it's a Nintendo game, they think they have gold and they're wanting top dollar for everything. So being able to collect a certain game at this point is just out of my reach. Like certain games that I want, it's out of my reach now. I can't afford original copies of some of these games, and so there's some games that I want to play. And the only way to do that is download a ROM.
The easiest solution would be do something about it yourself. That way you wouldn't want to go download the games illegally.
Exactly.
You would want to buy Nintendo's product.
Yeah, if Nintendo wants
Uh,
to take control of it, they just need to release everything. And Atlas Hill in the
see,
chat room says Total Nintendo Gold Superman 64. We will fight. That game is terrible.
one of my favorite games that I've reviewed on this show, just because of how bad it
Oof,
is.
that game, man. You want to talk about a turd in a box.
Yep. Absolutely.
And let's see, who gave us this next one? This is from Armez Jackson. It's from NintendoLife.com. Hardcore Gaming 101's latest book takes a swing at famous beat-em-ups. Let's see, the book what is it called? Beat 'em Up. The Guide to Beat 'em. Hardcore Gaming presents The Guide to Beat 'em Ups, Volume 1. The book goes all the way back to Techno's Renegade, which laid down so many of the foundations of the genre before devoting a large portion of pages to the Double Dragon series, another name that is synonymous with the belt-scrolling brawler genre. Capcom's big hitters are also featured, including Final Fight, Alien vs. Predator, and Captain Commando, while Konami's seminal TMNT and Simpsons arcade games are also getting some attention, alongside the amazing Vendetta and the sadly forgotten Asterix. I don't remember that one at all. Let's see. Another volume.
Would you say it's an asterisk in the history of fighting games?
A second volume is in the works, which will focus on IREM's contribution to the genre, such as Undercover Cops and Hook. In the meantime, this comes highly recommended. You can pick up a copy using the Amazon link within the article, and it goes for about $25 American. 19. I don't know if this is pounds or euros. One of the two. 19 pounds or euros, and then $25 American. So if you're,
I love the cover.
I know if you're into I actually want one of these because I love some good beat 'em ups. Like Final Fight's still my all-time favorite.
Yeah, this would be cool just to have as a collector's item. Like I said, I love the cover. Like this would be something that I would display, in my house, and I think it'd be a good conversation starter for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, I just like that genre, that late 80s, early 90s side-scrolling beat-em-up genre that's my sweet spot right there. Like, Streets of Rage 4 is probably one of the best games you can play currently that harkens back to that genre. Like, man, Streets of Rage 4 is just excellent. And I wish they would do the same with Final Fight. They need to bring back some more Final Fight games. God, I love those so much.
Those games are just so fun to play, especially with a friend or a group of people, just because you like feed off of everyone's emotions and reactions to what's going on. So they're fun games for sure.
God, I remember going to the arcade back in the the early 90s and playing Final Fight, just pumping quarters into Final Fight, trying to finish that damn game, and people would be crowded around watching. Like, man, I miss arcades so much.
Yeah, I do too.
Now that I'm an adult and have expendable income, I need an arcade to go to that has all old 90s beat 'em ups.
Hey, you wouldn't have to twist my arm to go with you.
Yeah. I mean, we do have a big arcade here that's Margaritaville, but it's got some old stuff, but it's a lot of like, games of chance. Like it's not really my thing.
There's a bar here in town called Play. They have a couple of old arcade systems. They have a Miss Pac-Man. They have Tron, which is pretty cool. But for the most part, it's like your table hockey, basketball, foosball type games. But they got a couple of arcade machines.
Yeah. Before we go into our review for tonight, Derek has some shout-outs.
Yes, as always, we'd like to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. We want to shout out AxeBlade07, Daniel Salmon, John Jekyll, a.k.a. Mixmaster, Hand Solo, Carlos Longoria, Staff Sergeant Sketch, Tyler Watson, Brandon Rutledge, Gus and Penny, Matthew Salmon, Randy Bailey, Joey Image, and Mr. Ron Johnson. Thank you all so much for your continued contributions to the podcast and keeping the lights on for us. And if you want to be a part of our awesome Patreon community, some of the cool things you get to do is vote on our monthly commentary tracks, which our most recent one is Big Trouble in Little China, which I believe you recently posted for everyone.
Yes, it just dropped this last Monday, I think.
So, yeah, there's a poll up now for our next one that we'll do for the month of September.
And Clue is killing it. So, Derek, you're not allowed to put a movie up next time.
Well, if it ends up winning, then that'll be... Clue's it's a fun movie. I love Clue.
Oh, I love Clue. I have no problems watching Clue.
Yeah, and I haven't watched it in a long time, so it'll give me a reason to watch it again.
But tonight...
But yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I was going to go ahead and do our drawing here for our patrons. We've been talking about this for a while. We're going to do a big prize pack tonight, which you're going to win a Monsters Anonymous t-shirt, a script signed by cast and crew, a Monsters Anonymous poster signed by cast and crew, which includes Brian O'Halloran and Jeremy London, of course, me and Wally. And everybody in the movie, the crew and cast, everybody, you're going to get a poster, a Parker Syndrome poster signed by cast and crew, and you're going to get a bag of coffee from Brez Coffee Company. So I got everybody's name here written on sheets of paper, and I got it in a hat here. And just so you know, there's no funny business. I got like Tyler Watson here. I don't know if you can see that. I got Tyler Watson,
I see it now.
Brandon Rutledge. All our patrons are written here on these. So I'm going to give them a good shake up here. All right, I'm not going to look.
Suspense is killing me.
All right, got one. All right, let's see.
Who's it going to be? Who is it going to be?
Oh, it's Mr. Brandon Rutledge. Congratulations, sir. You're going to win. Or actually, you won everything, so all you got to do is just let me know what your address is and what shirt size you are, and we'll get this stuff in the mail post haste. So congratulations to Brandon Rutledge, one of our longtime listeners, and yeah, congratulations. So golf clap. So that was fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
We'll do that occasionally for our patrons, and I don't know what we're gonna do for the next big prize pack, but I'm thinking about maybe collecting some game codes and things of that nature. Maybe some retro games throw in there. Maybe even a free Nerd Cave retro shirt. You never know. What? But yeah, congratulations, Brandon Rutledge. Just get me your address, and we will get this stuff to you ASAP. And tonight, we are both going to be talking about... Aggelos, a mesmerizing action RPG that looks like it was plucked straight out of the 16-bit era, but plays like a modern-day marvel. Inspired by non-linear Japanese retro adventures such as Wonder Boy and Monster World, Aggelos hurls players into the middle of a colossal struggle for survival as beings from another dimension threaten to invade the peaceful kingdom of Lumen, bursting with secrets and side quests and boasting slick melee combat that any 2D action game would envy. Aggelos, they're really talking themselves up here. Aggelos is the perfect combination of retro style and modern day game design. So, yeah, let's start from the beginning. A few weeks ago, I ran across this game on sale on the Switch. It was like, what, $1.99, I think? And I watched the trailer for it, and I thought, man, this looks really cool. This is kind of along the lines of, like, it really reminded me of, like, what if Zelda 2 was on the Super Nintendo, but made better than it is, which I hate to say that. I need to go back and maybe give that game another chance, but I'm not a fan of Legend of Zelda 2. But I sold it to Derek as, man, this game is what Legend of Zelda 2 should have been, because I got it, immediately fell in love with this game and started playing it, and told Derek about it, and he started playing. What did you think about it when you first started playing it?
So that's how you sold me on it, is you said it's what Zelda 2 should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Now, funny enough, I didn't watch the trailer at all. Like, I saw, like, I think one screen cap from it. And I said, okay, I definitely get the Zelda 2 vibe as far as the look. And I think in the screen cap, your character is, in like a little village, which looked almost exactly like a village from Zelda 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it was on sale. So I said, sure, why not? And then when I started playing it, I couldn't put it down. And I remember texting you saying that this game is already great. Like it feels like I'm playing the Super Nintendo,
Mm-hmm.
but on a modern system with better sounding audio, cleaner looking graphics. The gameplay is really good. And I know we're going to dive into a lot of the aspects of it, as we continue talking, but it made an immediate impact.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I play it, I have to play it for at least 30 to 45 minutes because I can't put it down.
Yeah, and the thing about the game is, the first couple of hours of the game are very, very enjoyable. It's set up very much like a Zelda 2 type of side-scrolling RPG, but there's no overworld like there was in Zelda 2. You just kind of go from town. There's a map, but it doesn't really help. I looked at the map occasionally. I still doesn't tell me where I need to go. So you just kind of explore, and it's kind of that same vein of Zelda 2, Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, that sort of non-linear, like different paths you can take, different there's a lot of exploration in the game, and you find cool things, you find new power-ups, you find new little areas where you learn new abilities and things of that nature. And the way the game is set up is you start off sort of Zelda style, like you start off in your house and you leave, and then there's this sort of princess that needs to be rescued at the very beginning of the game. You save her, and then you go to the castle, and you are given a quest by the king. there's evil across the land, and you must go gather these 4 elements. And there is an alchemist there's an alchemist and a like a wizard or kind of a shaman type lady at
a wizard slash like fortune teller type of.
Yeah, she helps you out through the game. Like if you get stuck or lost, you go talk to her and she kind of tells you where to go, what to do. And there's an alchemist that once you gather all 4 elements, you bring those 4 elements back to the castle. She puts them together, and then you go off puts them together for, which I haven't gotten this far. Neither of us made it this far. But she supposedly puts them together to make something that you go use for the final battle for the land.
So I did complete the air temple.
Okay.
That we were talking about. So basically, what you're having to do is there are cracks in a couple of different areas.
Yeah.
Throughout the map, and what's cool about the map is that it's all connected together in some way. Like you can be in the mountains and eventually end up in the water area.
Yeah.
If you know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find little shortcuts, and you do get you do get a feather which allows you to teleport between save points, which I know we're going to get to that a little bit later on.
Yes, we are.
But okay, so once you get the 4 elements, you get earth, air, fire, and water. You combine those together to form the light element, and that gives you access to go to the world of darkness, which, by this point, the cracks have gotten big enough to where enemies are starting to escape. So in addition to the normal enemies you fight throughout the map, you fight these red ghost looking type characters. You go into the world of darkness, and there you go through like a very short area, but then you fight a boss. No, I have beat both of them. So after you beat both those bosses, then you go to the final castle, which I believe his name is Albion, is the I think the final boss of the game.
Yeah, I never even made it that far into the game.
And that's the only other thing I have to do is find the actual Aggelos, because you get like the ultimate like armor and sword, but they're like rusted and beat up because they're so old and they have to be restored. Well, I found the armor. I've just got to find the sword.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm currently looking for.
And see, that's the cool thing about it, is each element you're going for, that is what that area and boss is based on. Like, say you go for the water element, then you go do a little side quest for this. He's like a priest, and you go you got to go get this thing that he needs to get a book that he then gives to you that helps you translate different languages and everything, so you can go to the water area, and in that town, the underwater water town, you can finally understand what those people are saying. You can buy power-ups there. Like you kill enemies to get money, then you use that money when you get to each town, which that element is based on. You get armor and weapons that are specifically designed for those areas. Like you have a water sword and water armor that you wear to go into the water temple, and then you fight, a water boss in that temple. And the temples are set up a lot like Zelda type of temples, where you got to go. They're like mazes, but you got to go find ways to open up. Basically, there's always something blocking the way to get to the boss, and you have to find switches within the temples in order to get those blockades out of the way to go fight the final boss of that temple.
When you also get rings in every temple too, where they give you different elemental abilities.
Yeah.
So like with the water, which is one of my favorites, you get encased in this bubble. If you're on dry land and you jump, you can hold down the jump button, and you'll like slowly fall to the ground. So if you're trying to jump from point A to point B and there's like a hole or whatever, you can float across it.
Yeah.
Or if you're underwater, then you could keep hitting the jump button and you'll slowly float to the top.
Yeah.
The air one is really cool too, because you when you get to the air temple, there are these blocks that are blocking your way that you have to have like that ring. If you're in the air and you hit the element button, you basically are like encased in a little bit of lightning and you just move really fast. And that's also how you learn the ability to run.
Yeah, I still that would be the last temple I need to go to, because I've been playing this game for a couple of weeks now, and Derek got a very aggravated text from me the other night, because in this game there are save points. There are certain places that you only in certain places can you save. And sometimes they're hidden and out of the way. There's always one outside of a temple, but it's always kind of hidden and out of the way. And you can only save at those points. Now, you can go there and replenish your health as soon as you touch that stone. But those are the only places that can save. So if you're doing a temple, which I was working on the lava temple, which is a very hard temple to get through. It took me 2 days of trying, a couple hours a day trying to get through there. And because they're not easy. And I finally get to the final boss of the fire temple or the lava temple. And, I tried maybe 7, 8, maybe 9 times to defeat that boss, maybe more than that, because each boss battle has 3 phases. First phase is pretty easy to figure out. Second phase, that's usually where I would die on the previous ones until I could start to figure out. Like the first 2 temples I went to, first temple took me maybe 2 tries to kill the boss. Second temple was the water temple I went to. That one took me maybe 5 or 6 tries to kill the boss. Lava temple, roughly 30 to 40 tries to try and kill that boss, because I can't get past that 3rd phase of the boss fight. Well, here's the awful thing that happened to me. I got to that boss fight and my D-pad started to mess up I was playing it in handheld mode for the Switch. And so trying to do the up jump, there's a move you do in the game where if you want to do a double jump, you have to press the attack button and the up button at the same time. And that causes you to do like a really high double jump. Well, the button started to get stuck. And when I died on the boss, I hit the button to continue and not quit. It went to that the continue or quit screen, the button was still activating and it went down to quit, and I hit the button before I realized what happened and wiped out my entire 2 days of working on the lava temple, and I lost my mind for about an hour. Like, I literally wanted to just sit on the floor and cry.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you if you did that. I felt your pain when you messaged that to me.
It was I had to calm myself down because I almost threw my Switch into the wall. Like, I was that mad when it happened.
Well, luckily you didn't, and your Switch survived. But that would be one, like, I would have to just put the game down and walk away.
I did. I put it in the dock, and I was like, I'm done for the night. I can't do it tonight. And we just watched TV. I calmed down. Next night, I called Derek or texted Derek. I was like, hey, I'm gonna try to get through the lava temple. So I did. After I knew where everything was, it didn't take me long to get through the lava temple. Maybe an hour to get back through everything to where I could get back to the boss battle. I maybe 20 tries, and I was like, I have defeated Ninja Gaiden in 20 minutes. I finished Mega Man 1, 2, 11 in the last year. I'm pretty relatively good at playing games. I can't do that third phase of the lava boss. I just can't do it. There's too much going on. And finally, I texted Derek. I was like, I'm defeated. This game has defeated me. I'm done. I'm not playing it anymore. It has killed my will to continue.
Yeah, I got close to that point on that boss fight specifically. And then when you get to the air temple, the boss fight is two giant birds. So not only do you have to fight one boss, you essentially have to fight two at the same time. And that one was the one that almost made me quit. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to try it one more time. And if I can't get past it, then that's probably going to be where I stop before we do the show. And luckily I was able to beat him and then got to where I am now.
I got so close multiple times on killing that lava boss. I mean, to where he had like maybe 3 hits left. But that third phase is so chaotic that I can't not fall in the lava. Because you got him chasing you, shooting these fireballs that are like a quarter of the size of the screen you're trying to avoid. And the what are the pillars that you're trying to jump from one to the other? Every time you land on one, it sinks down into the lava. And I'm just like, it's frantic. Like, it's the most frantic boss fight I've ever played in my life. And I'm just like, I'm done. I can't do this. And I don't know how to defeat this boss. Like, I got so close so many times. And I'm done. My will is done.
That's the worst in those boss fights because you can see how much life they have. Mm-hmm. Especially when you get them down to like 2 or 3 bars of health, and then you get hit, and you take away just enough damage to where you die.
Yeah,
and you're like, son of a.
Because the bad thing about it is, especially the lava temple, it's so far away from town where you could go and replenish
to get the herb and the potion.
Yeah, the herb and the potion. Because you're going to use those to get through the damn temple in one piece to get to the boss fight. So when you die and you have to go back through, by the time you get back to the boss, you're already like, 3 or 4 hearts down, unless you can find, a shortcut back to the boss. In the lava temple, I finally found that shortcut back to the boss. And it would still, by the time I got there, it would be, a couple of hearts would be missing. And I have no more potions. I got no herb, which the herb is one of those things where when you die, you automatically come back to life with a full bar. I got nothing. Like, I get to the boss and I'm like, I'm just a hope and a prayer to get through that fight. And it's not like I can run back to town, because to get to the lava temple, it's a certain pathway to get there. Sort of like, what other game has a mechanic like that? Because you have to go, like, there are 4 like every screen you go to, like, you have to go, like, you have to piece together 3 different, when you're going through the underground lava caves, you come across these signs, and it's like, to get to the lava temple, it's, your pathway is up, blank, blank, left, and down. And then you got to go find the other 2 signposts that give you the rest of that, pathway, which you need to take to get to either the dragon sword, which I did first, and then I went to the castle. So I don't even know how to get back to town at this point. Like, I don't even know how I would even get back to refill my, all the stuff I need to get through the fight. And they're stingy. This game is stingy with the hearts in the game, or anything to give you a leg up in any of these fights.
It is, as we like to say, Nintendo hard.
Yeah. Beyond Nintendo hard.
Yeah.
And
I love the game, though.
I love the game. I loved the game up until that point where it's like, it's so hard that you're just like, I can't do this, man. Like, I just don't. I don't know how to do this. I'm not good enough to defeat this boss.
I can't imagine how hard the final boss is going to be.
It's got to be
Like I can't.
because it's one of those games that starts out like it's so like not hard, not easy, not I mean not terribly easy. I mean it's pretty easy when you get through that first temple. It's relatively easy, but then each other temple you get to, just the difficulty just exponentially just gets harder and harder. You know, Ninja Gaiden's like that, but even Ninja Gaiden, like at least, you know, there's power ups you can get, like and things like this game is just like, no, you're gonna use up everything before you even get to the boss, and then good luck, jackass.
The fire temple is where I really noticed the difficulty just went from, down here to up here, where like you really could tell, okay, it's about to get serious now.
Yeah, I just like I said, the first couple of temples were okay, were relatively easy, but man, this fire temple is something else. And I think the game is great. Like as far as the music, the way it plays, I love the way this game looks. I mean, there's a lot of Mega Man influence in this game. You can definitely tell that they loved games like Mega Man. There's a lot of like exploration type stuff, like like Castlevania 2, like I said, Legend of Zelda 2. The way the game, I'm trying to think, like maybe ActRaiser, that type of look to the game. It's a beautiful game, and I just wish that I could crank down the difficulty a little bit because I'm just not. I just want to finish the game at this point. Like I don't even like, why is it this hard? And I'm just playing on just whatever the setting is, like normal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you on that. It's this game has caused me to quit playing it numerous times, but I keep going back to it.
Yeah.
So I can't really fault it for that because as I mentioned when we first started talking about the game, whenever I'm playing it, I feel like I'm sitting in my old room as a kid playing a Super Nintendo game. Everything from the look, I like not just the way the music sounds, but the tracks themselves are pretty catchy. I've even found myself going on YouTube to listen to a lot of the music, especially I love the music that plays when you're in the temples.
Yeah. Well, I've had the fire temple music in my head for days now.
Yeah, it's really good. It reminds me a little bit of like the NES era type of music. So
yeah,
I enjoy this game a lot. The only knocks that I really have against it gets too hard at times,
and lack of save
especially
feature.
A lack of save would be the other one. Yes.
Like we're beyond that now. I know you're trying to harken back to the days of the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo with no save features in the game. I mean, you can save, but they're so few and far between, like being able to save. Like if something stupid happens, like what happened to me, you lose so much progress. And, I would just leave the game on for a couple of days, like just not close out the game, just, put my Switch to sleep and then come back to it because I didn't want to have to leave whatever temple I was in or wherever I was to go try and find a save point. Like we hated that back in the day. That's one of our biggest complaints about all those games back then, lack of save points. We're beyond that. We don't want to do that anymore. So I forgot who P-Cube Games. If you're listening to this, just give me ability to save wherever. That's all I want. If I could do that, that raises my score by at least 2 points. If you give me a way to save it wherever I'm at, or just make that a whole easy mode. Make that easy mode. Where I could just save wherever I'm at. Make normal where it's like it used to be, where you got to find some random save point to save during the game. Make that normal. Make easy mode for old guys like me who just want to enjoy the game. Just let me save wherever I'm at so I can, go play, something else for like Tetris 99 for a little while so I can get to wash that lava temple off me a little bit.
The bad juju.
Yeah. I don't know. That's my biggest knock of the game is difficulty ramps up way too much too fast. No save features. Or no ability to save wherever I'm at. If it wasn't for those two things, if I could just have an easy mode where give me a way to save and make it not so hard, like this game would be almost a perfect 10.
So what would you give it?
Right now it's sitting at a 6 because of just way too difficult. I loved it up into the lava temple. I would have given it easily a 9, 8 or a 9, but after this, like, just trying to get through this temple and then, oh man, like my thumbs hurt. I don't know about you, but this game has made my thumb freaking. I got Nintendo thumb for the last week and a half because of this game.
Yeah, thumb's been a little sore.
I got to the point where I started using the stick, because I just got tired of using the D-pad. Like my thumb was just so sore.
Yeah, I would, for the same reasons that you mentioned, I would say because I love the look of it, I love the setting, the music's great, the story is good. I would give it 7.5.
Okay.
I would give it an 8.5 to a 9 if there were a proper save feature, and as you mentioned, the difficulty just didn't go from here to here.
Yeah. Like the difficulty curve was like not a good steady incline. It was just more like whoop and went straight up.
Yep.
So if you enjoy that type of difficulty, by all means, go get this game. And what you said was perfectly true. When I first started this game, it immediately made me feel like I was a kid again playing Super Nintendo. Like this would have been the game I would have rented for the weekend, and then like, all right, I'm getting this for my birthday or Christmas. This is what I'm asking for, or spent my whatever money I saved cutting grass or whatever. And it definitely took me back to that time, and I love it for that. I just wish it was a little easier.
Agreed.
So it's on sale. It's not that expensive. You can pretty much get it on everything, I think.
It's definitely worth getting.
Yeah, I think you can get it on.
I wouldn't want.
I think you can get it on Steam. It's definitely for Windows, for Nintendo Switch. I think you can get it on PS4, PlayStation. I think.
Let's see. It doesn't say on the PBQ game site.
Yeah, it just says now a downloadable game for Windows, but it's $14.99 on the PQ game site.
Let's see. I'm not seeing any links for PlayStation. I'm seeing Steam, Switch, Windows. Not seeing anything for PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if they'll give us some download codes too. Yeah, it's on Steam, Nintendo Switch, Microsoft, Steam, Windows, Aggelos, PS4. Let's see. I don't know when this article was released. No, yeah, this was 2019. Aggelos PS4 Switch physical editions will release in September of 2019. So, yeah, there's a PS4 version. I don't know if you can get it on the store, but there's definitely a physical version you can get for the PS4.
Sweet.
Awesome. But yeah, that's Aggelos. So I guess through our combined score, what did you give it? 7.5.
7.5.
I gave it a 6, so roughly a 7 from the both of us, and which I think is a good score. Like I said, I enjoy the game, but if you like that kind of difficulty and you like those action RPG games, definitely give it a try. But just know going in, it's hard. It's one of the hardest games I've played in a while.
I wouldn't deter anyone from getting it. Like, I think it's definitely worth playing. Just forewarning that it may frustrate you.
Yeah, and your thumbs are definitely going to be sore. And if I were you, I would definitely play. You can play it in handheld mode. I'm not a fan of the D-pad on the Nintendo Switch. I have the original Switch or version 2 or whatever. It's got the buttons instead of an actual D-pad. So this might be more fun to play on a Switch Lite that actually has a proper D-pad, because I started playing it on my Pro controller because it has a proper D-pad on it, which made it a lot easier to play, honestly.
Yeah.
So play it with a proper D-pad is all I'm saying. You're still going to get sore thumbs, but play with a proper D-pad. So that's going to bring us to the end of the show. It's awesome having you back. I hope you don't have to work next week, because I really want you back here in that seat.
I've got an idea that we'll talk about off air.
Okay.
We'll call it a backup plan.
Okay. So tell everybody what's going on with the Derek Diamond experience this week.
Yeah, so I actually got to have a really fun conversation with a documentary filmmaker named Christopher Mcdonald. He talks about how he got started in the industry working as a PA on a little known show called The X-Files.
Oh my goodness, one of my favorite shows ever.
That was his first job in the industry, was working on The X-Files.
Wow.
So he talks about that. Really cool documentary that he made called Queen of the Beach, which led into a whole discussion about child labor and child labor laws in other countries, which is a lot of what the documentary is about. Really, really good story from this chat. So that, and then I also give my thoughts on the trailers for Hawkeye and a movie I'm very much looking forward to, The Matrix Resurrections.
Yes. That trailer dropped last week, and I was like, okay, I'm back in. I'm ready.
Just when I think I'm out,
they pull me back in.
I also say why people shouldn't already be bashing the movie and saying it's terrible because of one trailer.
Yeah, give it a chance,
because I've seen that. I mean, I'm excited to go back in that world though, because like we're old enough to remember how influential the first movie was.
Oh yeah, that first movie is still perfection. I will say that to this day. It is science fiction movie perfection.
Yeah, I hope to, leading up to the new one coming out, I know I want to do a Matrix roundtable, and then I also want to do a watch along of the original.
I'd love to be a part of that.
Yeah, and that's another thing too is so I've been pretty active on Instagram, which you can find at instagram.com/ddiamondpodcast. I've been posting a lot of polls lately, and one of the ones I posted was, would you be interested in the roundtable discussions coming back? And overwhelmingly people said yes. So those will be coming back starting in October.
Awesome.
What I'm going to talk about yet, I'm not sure yet, but chances are you'll be getting an invite.
Awesome. I can't wait for that. And I was thinking I might have to do a Matrix rewatch, all three of them right before the new one comes out, just so I can refresh myself on the last two, because man, that second one, that's like an entire 2.5 hours of just nothing but exposition. Like, that movie was hard to get through.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the sequels as much as a lot of people do.
I don't either. I actually really like the third one.
Compared to the original, they're not great, but they still serve their purpose and they're still enjoyable in their own ways.
Yeah. I'm just interested to see how they're going to tie all this in, because apparently they're saying that the what happened in the Matrix online game, the MMO, things that happened in that MMO are canon. So that might be the reason
Really?
why we're not seeing Morpheus, because Morpheus died in the online game.
But it was confirmed that the Morpheus like character in the trailer, like that, I can't remember the actor's name,
Mhm.
but he said he was playing Morpheus.
We'll see what happens. Might be.
I have a theory that I know we don't want to get into the whole thing, but I think out of all those characters, Neo is the only one that is real. I think Trinity is a computer program created by the Matrix.
That's a good theory. Or what if this is some sort of weird prequel?
That would be weird.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate it though.
Or like you said, maybe it's a new version of the Matrix, and this is our original Neo, but he's still because he got blinded in the original movies, but now he's got sight again. So what? And he died.
Both he and Trinity died in the third movie. And also, if you saw, he was constantly eating the blue pills. I think whoever his therapist is that Neil Patrick Harris plays is another program that is giving Neo these blue pills so that he keeps forgetting who he actually is.
Oh, I can't wait. There's going to be a lot of speculation before this movie comes out.
Yes. There's some good movies and shows coming out in the at the end of the year. I can't wait.
Oh, there's so many good movies coming. I can't wait. That's going to be a good Christmas season for movies.
Yes. And we got Halloween Kills coming out in like a month.
That too. Oh, and speaking of Halloween movies or Halloween, season movies, we're coming up on our 5-year anniversary of Monsters Anonymous, and we got something special planned coming up next week for fans of Monsters Anonymous. I'm not going to say anything, but something special's coming next week, so stay tuned.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this week. If you follow Open Micers, we just recorded earlier tonight one of our worst episodes ever. So if you want to go listen to that awful episode, go check out at Open Micers on Twitter and Open Micers Podcast on Facebook, and go listen to I'm going to do my best to fix that episode because it was a train wreck. And that's all I'm going to say.
You got me curious now.
Yeah, but yeah, that's going to do it for this week. Anything else before we step out the door?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. If you'd like to email us, you can email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. We are at Facebook at facebook.com/nerdcaveretro. Nerdcaveretro, can't speak. Instagram and Twitter at nerdcaveretro, and individually at jfunktastic and at Derek_Diamond. Go buy some t-shirts over at ncrmerch.com. We got t-shirts, we got mugs, we got computer bags, masks, everything you need right over there. And also, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. Go throw us a couple bucks a month or $1 a month, and you get our commentary track every month, way before everybody else. And you get to pick our movies and all that sort of cool stuff. But if you can't do that, times are tight, I know. Leave us a review wherever fine podcasts are given away for free. So Derek, please tell them what it's all about.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
Yes.
Master Blaster runs Bartertown.
You blew it!
Awesome. That was a good episode.
Yeah. I like the co-reviews.
Yeah, I like that. Next week, you're doing a review if you're here.
Yes. Oh, so my idea, so I should know by Friday if we're in the playoffs or not.
Okay.
If we are, would you want to record the episode either Sunday or Monday?
Might be better. Well, maybe either later Sunday evening or Monday night.
Okay. Yeah, I'm free either ones.
I might have to work this week. I was told earlier today I have no choice but to come in and work this weekend. I'm like, okay, geez. Well, screw my plans. But let's go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. Thanks for watching on Twitch, and we'll see you guys next week.